Let's get into a quarterback that has not only the coolest name, but if you don't have him on your radar right now, you should probably start circling Gunner Stockton's name because he's making Georgia better and better and better every single week. The last 4 or 5 games from Gunner Stockton, I don't want to say since that Ole Miss game where he kind of put them in the backpack and took them to victory. Gunner Stockton is a great quarterback. And he's going to be and if he keeps flying on the radar, he's going to be the best quarterback that just flew under the radar all season and then just won a Heisman. Look, here's what I'll say. The second half comeback against Ole Miss had a lot to do with how good he was and how poised he was during the whole game. Him and Trinidad Chambliss were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And, you know, they didn't really have a running game, but Ole Miss did. So you have to worry about 2 different things from their side. K'Waun Lacey coming in there, I believe he had like 2 early scores in the game that kind of put them up at one point. And then Gunner Stockton, like I've been saying, Georgia is the best second half team that we've probably seen ever this year. It seems like they always go into halftime either trailing or in a really close game. Then now they're just pulling away towards the end. Let's get into a couple metrics about Gunner Stockton and why you guys should start paying attention a little bit more, for how he is. Total QBR, 90.1, which is 3rd in the country. Completion percentage under 15 yards, 79%. That's 5th in the country. Completion percentage beyond 15 yards is 36%, 108th in the country. So obviously he has to work on a deep passing game there, but what he does in the intermediate game has absolutely worked for him. Adjusted completion percentage in that Ole Miss game, 89.7%. Passer rating with a clean pocket, 89.9, ranks 22nd nationally. When pressured, 55.5. So when he faces pressure, there's a significant drop off. An adjusted completion rate, 81%, ranks 4th nationally. Can they be better? Can he be better on deep routes? Yes. But when the pocket's clean, he's looking like the best quarterback in the country. Now, it doesn't come without his flaws because we can look at their whole receiving core and be like, who is the real breakaway superstar here? A lot of people say Zachariah Branch, but he's their leading receiver on the team, and he's ranked 97th nationally. So they don't have a top 50 receiver on their team. Now, here's what I'll say also about Gunner Stockton, for those that don't know. This man is like the 4th quarter king. Y'all know how Bo Nix is tearing everybody up in the NFL in the 4th quarter? Now, that's a different story with Gunner Stockton. And I think this is where he's had his constant Heisman moments over and over and over again. This past weekend against Texas, in the 3rd quarter, he threw an interception. How did he respond in the 4th quarter? 30-yard pass to London Humphreys. Then the next possession, the 6-yard pass to Lawson Lucky. After he had a 10-yard run to get them in plus territory. And then the 3rd score was a 4-yard run by himself on 3rd and goal to seal the deal with less than 5 minutes to go in the game. Yeah, Gunner Stockton is the real deal. I know we talked about MVPs and Heismans and things like that and the best quarterbacks in the country. Look, I still have Ty Simpson at number 1. Julian Sain is rising up my board pretty quickly. But the one guy that's just flying under the radar that's just like at the beginning of the year, we're like, I don't know if Gunner Stockton's got the juice. Let me tell you what, Gunner Stockton's got all the juice and then some, man. I would definitely, if you guys don't have him on your radar, start to understand how good Gunner Stockton's been for Georgia. And he's continually gotten better throughout the season. A lot of people started to compare this to like Stetson Bennett. And I understand Stetson Bennett was in the Heisman conversation at one point in time. Or was in the Heisman conversation. Was a 2-time national champion. But we're talking about like quarterback-wise. I think Gunner Stockton is going to be a better quarterback than a lot of these former Auburn guys. kind of reminds me a little bit of Matthew Stafford when he was at Georgia. And Georgia looks like the best team in the SEC at this point in time. I'm excited to see how Gunner develops for the rest of the year. I'm excited to see where Georgia actually ends up. And Georgia's is one of those teams, every time you think they're about to have a down year or have a game where they're not going to win, they just end up winning that game and coming out on top. I.e. the Ole Miss game. Everybody had Ole Miss beating them. I don't know what happened. It doesn't matter. These guys are good, and they're continuously going to put points up on people. And in the second half and fourth quarter, that's where Gunner Stockton shines the most. So if you don't have him on your radar, start putting Gunner Stockton on your radar really, really quickly.